And welcome everybody to another video. Patch 1.6 has so much to offer, and with all the things announced recently, there's quite a few things you should think about with the state of the game, as well as what to expect for the future. Whether you're a new player or someone who's returning, the best time to start playing the game again is now. Join me as we go over everything we're expecting for this patch, as well as some things you should be looking forward to for the patches ahead. Before we get into the video, I just wanted to take the time to ask if you could. Now, let's get back to the video. Let's start off with Ruan. Ruan is the most valuable character that you'll see in 1.6, and possibly, honestly, the future of the game's lifespan. There's still more to her kit that hasn't been fully announced yet, and I'll be covering that in a later video once all is revealed, or even on her release. Her skill increases the break effect of all your allies and lasts for 3 turns. Her ultimate applies all-type resistance penetration, which is absolutely insane. The only unit that's currently able to do that and has some type of resist penetration right now is Dawn Hun, and the way it boosts damage is incredible. We were also able to find out from the website that she also gives a speed boost in some way to the team, so she's universally such a great unit for so many compositions we have in the game thus far. Dual DPS teams will love to have her. She's a 5-star ice unit, so you can even pair her up with Jing Liu teams. She further enhances these units that want to break characters for massive damage, such as Silverwolf, Luca, and Sampo, and this isn't to mention that with the additional speed buff as well, she'd be a very great addition to the dot teams. This is a unit that you don't want to miss out on. I would recommend it to everyone to try and pick up this unit if you can, because it will and can change your account forever. Running alongside Ruan is Blade. Blade's one of those characters that I had pulled for on release because of that Bruiser and Berserker type playstyle, but Blade does a really great job at being able to consistently get out damage, as well as be able to self-sustain himself to an extent with his ultimate and his follow-up talent. Blade benefits also add up when you consider that you can just also build him on full HP, and he'll still be able to dish out damage just as well because of his HP scaling, making him an easy character to invest in for someone new to the game to be able to take advantage of. Blade does, however, need some help to help him survive, but have no fear. With patch 1.6 releasing, you'll be able to get yourself a free Lynx who synergizes really well with him, as well as other destruction and preservation units. You can provide Blade that additional healing he'll need to stay alive, even though he would much rather be dead. Next up, let's talk about the star of the show himself, Dr. Ratio. Yes, this is a very important character you should be looking out for, and, well, main reason for that is we're getting him for free. Yes, a 5-star limited character is being given to us for free, and hey, he's actually pretty good. Let's talk about that for a bit. Dr. Ratio is an imaginary hunt character, which is really important because as a newer player, or even a returning player, having an imaginary DPS is something that's a bit scarce right now. Unless you manage to pull yourself a Welt, or manage to snag yourself an Imbibitor Lunae, this is actually your best bet, and Dr. Ratio actually does quite pack a punch. Dr. Ratio is one of those characters who wants to spam his skill, because his skill, when it's triggered, will trigger his talent, which is an additional follow-up attack that triggers based on the amount of debuffs that appear on the enemy. With a flat percentage for it to trigger as well, it seems that you can potentially raise that percentage with some more debuffs, but we'll have to find more about that later. Additionally, with his ultimate, he's able to attach a debuff on the enemy themselves, which will allow for anyone who's attacking the enemy with that debuff to allow for Dr. Ratio's follow-up to trigger up to 2 times, even when it's not his turn to trigger it for him, as well as leading up to some great damage potential. We'll have to cover some more information for Dr. Ratio as time approaches closer for his release, or how you should be prepping for him. I'll do my best to get any coverage that I can. Last but not least, we have another winner showing back up in version 1.6, and that's Kafka. To all my Kafka enjoyers, we've won. Now is also a great time to pick up Kafka if you haven't had a chance to grab it yourself. Kafka allows for dot teams to explode their dots, while also additionally keeping the dots on the enemy itself. If there's any unit you should be on the lookout for as a core unit or a future-proof necessity, Kafka's the one you should be looking out for. With Black Swan and Hanabi being announced for 2.0, there's a good chance that Black Swan could potentially be the missing link we're looking for right now on dot teams. Only time will tell, but Kafka's value will only rise as the game continues to go forward. All of these characters are really great to get if you missed out on them, but if I did have to choose, you should consider picking up Ruan over them all, and Kafka if you're a dot enjoyer. Next, we'll move on to some new battle content. Simulated Universe adds an additional new game mode, Gold and Gears. Similarly to Swarm Disaster's release, completing this game mode will get us access to the Path of Erudition for overall use in Simulated Universe. A lot more gem potential to get, and with the new dice system, we'll be able to choose our own specific setups to get those bigger numbers. Additionally, we've got our new endgame game mode announced, Pure Fiction. Finally, Erudition's Playground's here, and they'll be able to get their time to shine. This game mode is an endless game mode where you'll be able to fight waves of enemies to get score, and as one enemy is defeated, another will spawn in their place. Additionally, you'll be able to select an additional buff to help you get through these waves to try and get yourself max points. There's going to be so much to talk about regarding Pure Fiction. I'm going to make another video to cover who you should be leveling up and prepare for this game mode. We'll be having our first Pure Fiction run in 2 weeks after patch 1.6 drops, so we'll have quite a bit of time to prepare for that in all. Patch 1.6 is a great patch for the game, and there's so much new things to do to help calm the storm before our big 2.0 release. Really excited to have more things to cover, and hopefully with a bunch of new content appearing, I can also start including more into the mix.